Good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Charles Muyela, the Secretary General for the Botswana Doctors Union. I think we'll just give just an additional 3 minutes for others to just kindly join in. But I can see our team from our insurance side is here, the ones who will be giving the talk on financial literacy. So let's just remember to mute our mics as we join in, and we'll start at 2:05. But Mr. Nelson, you can just start loading your slides in the meantime.
Thanks, Dr. Charles. I will I will load right now. Thank you very much. I will start loading my presentation and just wait.
Thank you so much. Mr. Nelson, it's 5 minutes past 2. I will just hand over the space to you just to introduce yourself and just to introduce the topic of the day, and then just to take it from there. But feel free amongst us.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Charles. Let me just put myself in presentation mode here. Okay, as you can see there on the screen, my name is Nelson Letsweni. I'm a certified financial planner. And of course, I'm with First Sun Alliance, and we do all of that, financial planning mostly, and a lot of other products that we do that help you with your financial plan. So today's topic is wealth protection and wealth creation, money skills, basically. We're going to learn some of the skills that are required for you to be able to learn wealth protection strategies and wealth creation strategies. We said this is part one because it's potentially a very long presentation. So we're gonna cover mostly the protection side today. And in the next presentation, we will focus more on the wealth creation side. So let me just confirm and make sure that everybody can hear me and see my screen. Charles, you may just say to me, yes, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
Great, thank you very much. Just wanted to make sure that everybody can hear me clearly and see my screen. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, obviously, when we talk about financial literacy, we're talking about skills, we're talking about money. And the whole idea is, where does your money go? And we all work and we make money. And the idea of where it goes is exactly what we are supposed to be talking about over here, because where it goes could be a place where it's going to make more money for us in terms of wealth building, or it could be disappearing into the areas where we need protection. So the thing that you need to always be aware of this is this: in life, there are things that are going to consume your money, whether you like it or not. Money is a thing that makes life go forward, that makes life work. Therefore, your money is going to be consumed by certain things. And the most important thing when we talk about protection is the ability to identify those very things. So it is crucial that you attend to these things that are going to consume your money before the idea of building wealth occupies you. That's why we have our presentation in two parts today. Let me just reduce your volume there. Yes, so that's why we are going to focus. The first part is going to be the things that are going to consume your money. What do you need to do about those things? So I'm going to focus on those in the beginning, and then we are going to make sure that, like I said, in the second part, we are going to do the wealth creation. So wealth protection skills. The first thing that's important to do is identify the things that are danger to your money. You know, I'm assuming obviously that your money is the thing that we are trying to protect. Your wealth is the thing that we are trying to protect, but you need to identify the things that are a danger to your money. You need to identify the things that need to be protected. And of course, you need to build strategies to address the threats of your money. So starting at the top, you identify the thing that needs to be protected. You identify the things that are a danger to your money, and you build strategies to address the threats to your money. And so that's exactly how the presentation is going to be today. It's going to start with the identification of the things that need to be protected and are recognized by all of us as things that need to be protected. And then we're going to look at the threats, the things that threaten those very things that need to be protected. And then, of course, we're going to build the strategies to be able to protect our wealth. So here are the things. One of the things I said in the beginning here is there are things that are going to consume your money. And I call these the 7 foundations. This is where your money goes, okay? At whatever stage of life you are in, These are the things. I'm just going to put them up here and I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about the first 4 things over here. When I talk about mortgage management, I'm talking about your primary need for accommodation, your primary need. So for some people, it might still be rental, but for some people who have already taken a mortgage, your money is going to go towards that, towards your own protection, towards your own way of living. And then, of course, as you grow, and some I'm sure already at that level where the education funding for your children is going to take a priority to some extent. It's going to consume a lot of your money. Primary, secondary, and tertiary education. The price of those just for one child run into millions when you do a proper financial analysis from primary to secondary to tertiary, and you put it all together. That is part of your planning. These are the things that if you don't plan for, whether you like it or not, your money is going to go towards those things. And of course, we have emergency planning. These are the things that come by unexpected, and they also are there to consume your money. And of course, your lifestyle itself is a huge part of taking your money. So these are the 4 current things. These go on at the moment. You have to pay rent at the moment. If you have children, you have to pay school fees at the moment. And emergencies happen to you every day. And your lifestyle is happening to you even as we speak. So these things are current and they are right here and they take money. The next 3 things are not so current because they are out there in the future. Retirement planning, for most of us, it's not now, it's in the future. Legacy planning is not now, but it's in the future, but it's part of the things that you need to think about. And of course, the idea of wealth planning. Do I want to be wealthy? Do I want to build wealth? And I put wealth planning last there because when you think about it, wealth is that amount that remains when all of the above have been taken care of. When your mortgage has been paid, your children have gone through school, you've taken care of your emergencies, and your lifestyle is set the way that you want it to be, what remains could be that which we call wealth. So these 7 things are the way that we think about it. Now, if we skew these things wrongly, where we say, I want to focus more on my wealth planning, and then you ignore the above, your life's going to be dysfunctional. So you cannot really ignore any of these 7 foundations. So the first step, I said, is to identify your wealth and your wealth potential. So the obvious part of our wealth is your physical assets. Everybody has some form of physical assets, whether it be the furniture in your home, whether it's the car that you drive, the cell phone, the laptop, all those physical assets that you have that need to be protected. And then there's another thing, the next 2 over here. The first one, the intellectual assets and your skills and talents. Your intellectual asset is one of the key factors that allow you to be able to make money. Your skills and your talents are exactly the things that help you to make money. But unfortunately, you find that it is easy to protect our physical assets because we can see them. We can see the car, we can see the house, we can see the furniture. So it's easy when somebody says, hey, take a short-term insurance to protect these things. You easily can think about that. But we have found that a lot of professionals don't always think about their intellectual knowledge as an asset that need to be protected, or their skills and their talents as things that need to be protected. And one of the things that you need to know that without these, without the intellectual assets, skills and talents, you really cannot produce the physical assets, unless of course your money is made through physical labor. But physical labor is almost always trailing your intellectual assets. You go as a medical doctor, and of course you're using your physical body, but without the knowledge in your head, your physical body would be just like me going there to take care of a patient, and I would know nothing about that. So your intellectual assets and your skills and talents are part of your wealth. Now, your physical assets, you can pass them on to your descendants as inheritance, but your intellectual assets are not always easily transferable, unless, of course, you do certain things like you write a book and or register certain patents that can be used to be able to be passed on. But skills and talents, they go with you. You cannot pass them on to somebody else. So, but while you are alive, they're absolutely important for you to make sure that these are protected. Now, the next thing that we need to do is to identify the dangers to your wealth and wealth potential. So when we talk about the dangers, we're talking about the physical risks to your physical assets, the risks to your intellectual properties, the risks to your skills and talents, and environmental risks. Physical risks to your physical assets, those are life hazards. You know, you have a car, and the danger that faces that car is somebody could bump into it and you need to spend money to fix it. Somebody could break into your house and steal your TV, and you need to spend money to replace the TV. Somebody could steal your laptop or your iPhone or phone. You need to spend money to replace it. And so the physical risks that exist is basically the physical hazards in life. And of course, the risks to your intellectual properties are slightly more hidden, because when you talk about the thing that could risk your intellectual property, think about, let me put together your intellectual property and your skills and talents. What are the risks? What is the one thing that could steal your skills and talents from you? That thing is called the disability. Your disability is you not being able to carry out your talents or your skills or to practice your intellectual property. So it's another risk, it's another danger that you need to always be aware of when you talk about wealth protection. You see, we talk about wealth protection and wealth creation, but it is important to protect what you already have. And that is why we have to come up with strategies to make sure that your intellectual properties, your skills and talents are also very protected. Now, environmental risks are things around you, and we're going to mention some of those things that may have nothing to do with your physical assets, your intellectual properties, and your skills and talents, but they are there and they are a risk that you need to address and think about that. So let me continue with this presentation so you can see what I'm talking about over here, okay? So we are continuing with the identification of the dangers to your wealth and wealth potential. Life hazards, I've already mentioned a few of them, you know, like somebody breaking into your house or car or basically stealing your stuff. Now, here's another thing when I mentioned the environmental risks in this previous slide of environmental risks at the bottom there. The first one that I have over here is consumerism. Now, consumerism, I call that the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit, because if you're not aware that consumerism as an environmental thing is a danger to your money, you will spend and spend and spend. And that is why we call it the bottomless pit. Think about what I call the commercialization of our senses. You know, our five senses were given to us to basically navigate our way on this planet that we live on. But you have to be aware. You have to see how commerce have taken over those senses and basically try to make money out of all of those things. Think about your sense of smell, for example. It's an important thing. It will save you from being in a house that is, maybe there's a gas leak. It will save you. And it was given to you for such purposes as that. But think about the whole perfume industry. It is based on your sense of smell. If you didn't have a sense of smell, there would be the perfume industry would not exist. Okay, all those beautiful smells and deodorants and all that stuff, they wouldn't exist. Think about your sense of hearing, for example. Without your sense of hearing, the whole music industry, sound industry wouldn't exist. So that's what I mean by the commercialization of your senses. Your sense of taste. I mean, we would just eat because we want to eat and take care of our bodies. But the taste and the taste that we continue to create, they help commerce to get money out of our pockets. So we spend money. When I talk about consumerism, We spend money for the sake of our senses, because I want to smell good, I want to sound good, I want to, I want things that taste good, I want things that feel great on my skin. I want, you think about all those senses. So consumerism can consume you if you are not aware that it is a thing that is targeting your money. And if you're not aware that consumerism is going after your money, you will just be lost in that world, and your money is gonna go to that, and you're stuck in that. Now, another thing that helps consumerism is something that I call the debt trap. The debt trap is the idea that you need to consume on debt over and over and over again. And remember, if your goal is to build wealth, but you are busy stuck in consumerism, then you are in the bottomless pit. Even the things that you consume that you think are important, short, before it's too long, they run out. Your car, it's a great thing. It's an asset, but only for a short time. After 5 years, it is consumed. You need to go buy another one. Your furniture, after so many years, you need to change. So consumerism, it's something that you need to be aware. It's an environmental thing. And there are people in the consumer world that are coming after your money. And if you don't protect yourself, you will find that you are spending. Now, the last one over there, which is very interesting, is what I call the black tax. And I think everybody on the call probably knows and understands what black tax is all about. But black tax is really the legacy of poverty. Most of us are Black people. We cannot ignore the legacy of poverty from whence we have come. And now I'm saying this just because I've seen many people in my years of financial planning that are consumed by black tax as well, where the guilt to take care of the entire clan rests on your shoulders. Now, anyone who earns any decent income knows that, and I'm not saying this to teach you to be completely, absolutely too stingy, but I'm just saying be aware that consumerism, debt, and black tax could stop you from your way of trying to create wealth, because they are bottomless pits if you don't have a strategy to deal with them correctly. So black tax is, of course, maybe you may know and understand why it was called black tax. It's a word or a phrase that was coined in South Africa, based on the idea that if you after apartheid, that if you take a black child and a white child and put them to school and put them together and make them earn the same income when they graduate, the white man goes forward and the black man goes backwards. The white man goes forward because they have no legacy of poverty to take care of, and they immediately start building wealth. But the black person has to go back because they cannot ignore the legacy of poverty from whence they have come. So it is absolutely important to identify these things. Once they're identified, we will be able to build strategies to be able to deal with them. It is very rare, and I've met a few people in my financial planning journey who have managed to create a strategy to deal with black tax, and I'll be able to share some of those things even as we continue with the idea that black tax needs a strategy, debt needs a strategy, consumerism needs a strategy, life hazard needs a strategy. And if you don't have those strategies, your wealth is laid bare, and somebody somewhere could just come on in and take your money, and you're gonna work until cradle to the grave without knowing exactly what you are doing. So financial planning is about helping you to identify these hazards, to identify consumerism, where you are not going to be stuck in such thing as credit card debt or consumer debt. But if you're gonna do debt, make sure that it is the kind of debt that helps you. And of course, you're gonna need help in that particular world. And black tax, you have to have a strategy. If you don't have a strategy, your money is going to be consumed by any and all of these things. So now, let's move into identify mitigating strategies. Look, the important thing in life is peace of mind. Your peace of mind is the key. And we just so happened that at First Sun, our motto is your peace of mind first. And when we say your peace of mind first, this is what we mean. We don't want you to be distracted along the way of you trying to build wealth or trying to make your life easy. We are there to identify those hazards, that are going to take away your peace of mind. When as a medical doctor, I'm sure you're being in a positive mindset when you're doing your work is absolutely more important than being with a patient and worried about the fact that your car could be stolen or your house could be broken into or somebody could sue you for making a mistake. And that is what peace of mind is all about, is ability to do and to progress and to go forward without worrying about the things that steal your peace of mind. So when you think about insurance, most risks in life can be insured. When we talk about your professional indemnity, I'm sure many of you have it and you understand what it is. It gives you the peace of mind should you make a mistake. We all make mistakes. To err is human, but professional indemnity says that you are able to move on. If somebody sues you, that is the cover that's going to indemnify you and you move forward. Short-term insurance, of course, is going to help you with your physical assets. We're talking about your cars, all your physical assets can be taken care of. And of course, your life insurance is about your ability to continue with life and to help those that have depended on you to continue with life as well. That's basically what insurance does. And of course, we will talk more about that in the future. Let's talk about black tax strategies. And many people have been stuck with the idea of black tax because they literally do not have proper strategies that can help them. Black tax, what it really requires is what? Is liquidity. Your grandmother at home doesn't really care about any other investments other than please give me some cash. Those siblings that you are helping, the important thing for them is liquidity, cash. If you say to them, no, but I'm building this great business, or I'm building this real estate portfolio or whatever. If whatever it is you think you are investing in does not produce cash, then cash will have to come from your pocket. It will have to come from your salary. So if you are sitting there thinking, yes, I have to help at home, remember that the only way to help at home is to have cash, is to give them the cash. You can't say, I'm going to give you, what I mean, you can give them other assets that can help them out. But the bottom line is that liquidity, investing for liquidity. So one of the strategies, one of the things I have found in my financial planning journey is that a lot of people put their money into hard assets. And you know what those are? Real estate. They are like, let's do multi-res. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying if you are focusing too much on hard assets that don't produce liquidity. I had a client one time who owned 27 plots, but he was so broke he had to go live with his girlfriend. So you see, this guy spent so much money on hard assets, but he was not liquid at all, because life is about liquidity. So when we talk about investing for liquidity, that is exactly where you need a financial planner to show you those investment tools that can actually help you to produce liquidity. It is the key to building wealth. If you don't have liquidity, you've seen businesses fold because they don't have liquid cash. And so the strategy of liquidity is something that you have to sit down with a financial planner basically to say, how do I make sure that I am more liquid, as well as including your hard assets. And I'm not saying hard assets are wrong, but I'm telling you, if you don't have enough liquidity, your hard assets will be liquefied. They will be sold to produce cash, because cash is king. And so black tax strategies must include investing for liquidity. And those are some of the strategies we will look at when we do wealth creation. I'm just planting that seed in your mind, so you know that if you really want to deal with black tax, you have to be a lot more liquid than you are in terms of hard assets. And of course, sometimes it takes the hard assets to produce the liquidity, but you have to be very strategic. Don't be like my friend who had 27 plots all over Botswana, but was so illiquid, he had to beg for bread. Now, the next strategy here is what we call FIRE. FIRE, it's an acronym standing for Financially Independent and Retire Early. Now think about that, eh? Retirement is not what it used to be. People don't say, I want to work until I can't work anymore, then I retire. People want to retire early. But I have to tell you, you will never retire early until you are financially independent. It is not possible, because it is financial independence that allows you to be able to retire early. Now, that is sort of, that is an upside down view of life, because most people say, I want to live my life right now, and they focus their life so much on lifestyle. They spend all they earn on a great lifestyle. And I'm not against a great lifestyle, but a great lifestyle doesn't build financial independence. Now, you can Google that term, FIRE, financially independent and retire early, and study the lives of people that have put that into practice. You will see that early on in their life, they focus on investments, not just hard investments, but they focus on liquid investment that can continue to grow. You know, in the financial planning space, we know for a fact with empirical proof for over 200 or more years that equities, what we call stocks and shares, will always outperform all other asset classes. Equities will outperform property, will outperform bonds, will outperform cash. And so you will need a strategy to be able to make sure that you are financially independent. Now, the SCA, yes, what do you call it in the US? They call it Exchange Commission of the US, defines what financial independence is. It says financial independence is a person who has $200,000 annual income. Okay, that is how they define it. Now, 200,000, if we just put it at our Pula, you know, and the Pula has been losing value quite frequently here. Minimum 2 million per year as passive income. That's how it's defined. And so you have to ask yourself, how do I arrive at that level of financial independence when I am so busy living a life, when I'm so busy trying to make a living? This is where a financial planner comes into place. You know, countries that have great levels of financial planners, if you track what goes on with them, you'll find that it's easy for them to build wealth because they appreciate or they work with financial planners. Look, when I'm physically sick, I need a doctor, a physical doctor to help me out. And so same way, when you are financially trying to build a financial empire, I have to present it to you or stress it to you to say you need a financial planner to help you with your FIRE strategy. So if you are young and you say, I want to retire early, and early is 45 or 50, which means by 45 or 50, you must be financially independent. What kind of strategy are you going to build to do that? So that is your homework. Go Google FIRE, financially independent and retire early, and see what it means to those people that are already doing that strategy. And when we come back into our next wealth creation, we will look at some of those strategies that they are using to create financial independence. But I can tell you right now, anyone that you know, think about Einstein. Einstein was one of the most intelligent person this planet has ever seen. But the bad news I have for you with Einstein is that Einstein was a lousy investor. He lost so much money, including the money that he got for his Nobel Prize. He lost it in bad investment. And why? Simply because he did not have a financial planner or people that could help him. As smart as he was in science and all of that stuff, you must understand that the idea of being financially independent, as much as, the idea of me being healthy requires a doctor, this idea also requires a financial planner to help you out. Now, wealth planning and money skills. What are you going to do to create these strategies that I'm talking about? You need to understand that making money is a process. You are currently in that process. You go to work every morning. It's a process. You wake up, you go to work, and you only get paid once a month, right? So if they pay you 10,000 a month, you are only going to take 12 months before you make 120,000. It's a process. Even if they give you 15,000, it takes so much to grow that to 150, 180,000. So that is a process that most of us are already involved in. Now, another program is keeping money. Keeping money is a program. If you don't have a program of keeping money, you must understand that you're going to, your money is just going to slip through your fingers, as we say, slip through your fingers. Now, another thing that what is the strategy that I'm going to need is growing money is a process within a program. That is where I say you need a financial planner, because it's one thing to make it, it's another thing to keep it, it's another thing to grow it, okay? You make money, you know how to do it because you go to work, but can you keep it, okay? And when we speak in the second part, we will be able to tell you that it doesn't matter how much money you make, it matters how much you keep. And keeping it just in your bank account is not good enough. It doesn't matter how much you keep, it matters how much it grows. And so the growing money is a process within a program that I guarantee you will need some hand holding to help you with that. Now, building value is a skill. That is an important part, because you can do everything. You can make money and still be valueless. You can make money if you don't keep it, if you don't grow it, if you don't build value, your strategies are not going to take you very far. So basically, when we talk about wealth protection, I was having this conversation. Every time I have a conversation with people, they say, hey, this is such an adult conversation. So I'm asking and I'm imploring on us today to really, really start having this adult conversation, to understand that, yes, you are smart, you are skilled, you are a doctor in your world, but I guarantee you, in the world of financial working with your money, it can be a jungle out there if you don't get help to make sure that these strategies are into place. I want to make sure that I don't go over time. I want to save time for questions if there are any. So, investment knowledge, how to grow money trees. Money grows on trees, but unless you plant the trees, you cannot harvest the fruits. And many of us plant thorn bushes that don't produce good fruit. I told you about Einstein, who lost a lot of his money. As smart as he was in the world of science, when it came to his investments, he wasn't so good. And then you take another man like Munger and his partner. What's his partner again? The guy I forget his name now.
Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett, that's it. Munger and Warren Buffett. Those guys are geniuses, okay? Now, Warren Buffett doesn't have a PhD in anything, okay? But he understands the stock market, and most of his money he made through what? He made it through value investing. Now, you can go read a book called Investing, written by Dr. Graham or something, who was that Warren Buffett. He read that. It's a huge book. But you will see that there's such a great science in building wealth. Now, one of the things that is very, very important for our intellectuals in this country, or let me just say in Africa, we really need to break away from consumerism and start seeking the kind of advice that will help us to build wealth, because we live a great lifestyle and we don't leave a great legacy. It says at the bottom that the fruit and the root grows from the same root, and the root is knowledge. If you want to plant and grow and you don't have that knowledge, hire the knowledge. I like what Henry Ford used to say when he was building his plant, his car manufacturing plant. Somebody tried to prove that he wasn't very, very smart. And he said to him, look, I don't have to be smart about this or that, because I can hire all of that. I can hire the best engineers. I can hire the right people to help me with all of these things. And that's how he became one of the richest Americans. And to this very day, many of us still drive the cars that he created because he knew how to hire the right knowledge. And here's a fact: if you really want to go into wealth building, you have to hire the right skills to help you with that. That does bring me to the end of this presentation. And I'm going to invite you to please consult us at FirstSun, inquiries@firstsun.co.bw. That is our landline over there, 391-3666. And I'm putting my cell phone number there as well. For those of you who say, I want to know the person who's speaking here, you can contact and we will be able to help you with all of your investment knowledge and everything that you really need to think about. So that is what I have today. Next presentation, I nearly said next week, but whenever it is that we set it up, it will be sometimes in March. We will have the second part to this, where we will focus on your wealth creation strategies, the tools that you need to have to be able to build your wealth. But remember, in this one over here, we're talking about protection. And the basic protections is identify the physical assets and insure them. Your own skills, your own skills and talents are your assets. And in that area, we talk about disability insurance, we talk about life insurance. Those are basic tools that lay the foundation. When you have that foundation down, you can be able to go ahead and build wealth on top of that. Because there is no point building wealth when what you have is not protected. So that is all I have to say for now. And I'll return the mic back to Charles. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nelson. Such an insightful presentation. I think now we are ready for a Q&A. So questions, comments, anything, even just insights or reflections are most welcomed. I'll start with the chat box. I don't see any questions in the chat box. So I think let me open the floor. So just feel free to unmute your mic and ask any questions you have. I just see one question or comment that just has arrived in the chat box that reads as follows. Thank you so much for the great presentation. You mentioned it's best to have investments that have some liquidity. Could you share examples, please? All this investment talk is still new to me. There you go, Mr. Nelson. A question for you, sir.
Great, thank you very much. When we talk about liquidity, we are talking about cash, basically. And we have to think about what we call income producing assets. You know, a lot of people think about real estate as an income producing asset, which is true. It does produce an income called rental. But you have to put a lot more money into real estate before you see that thing called rental. So those are what we call capital intensive investments. Real estate is like that. And a lot of people think real estate is a great investment, and it is, but it is a preserve of value. It is generally used by people who already have cash and they want to hold it down. What you need is to be able to use tools that can produce an income for you without you having to put too much into that. So when you are beginning, you will need unit trusts, and there are thousands of unit trusts. There are many classes of unit trusts. It could be a jungle out there, and those can produce an income for you. So liquidity means cash. So if you have to put $1 million into an investment before you see 3,000 bucks every month, you have put too much. But what about if you put that 3,000 and the very next month you are able to see, 100 or 200? And imagine if you put $1 million into a liquid investment and you can live off of the returns of that without having to put so much money into real estate. And don't get me wrong, I am not saying real estate is wrong, but for a beginner, it's a consumer of money. It takes too much money, it returns too little, too late. So you need to learn how to put money into assets that bring cash back quicker and help you on your way. I have a friend who has built a real estate empire, I would call it, right here in Botswana. But he spent the first 20 years of his investment career investing into stocks and mutual funds right here in Botswana. Okay, if you want, I can make an arrangement, you go meet him. Okay, but he would put 50,000 into the stocks, into mutual funds and all that. And when he's built all of that, it was easy for him at the end to just start producing many buildings and real estate. So there's where you start and there's where you end. And real estate is where you end, it's not where you start. So in a nutshell, that is what liquidity is all about. It's about producing the right investments that will produce the right money to help you to lock them down into such assets as real estate. I hope that answers the question.
No, thank you so much, Mr. Nelson. I think Ngaka has said the question was well answered, so I don't think there is any comments. We have a second question that reads as follows. What are the other strategies to deal with black tax? It's going to take time now to be liquid. So the question, just to read it again, is what are the other strategies to deal with black tax? It's going to take time now to be liquid. That's the question or comment.
Great, thank you very much. Black tax is a whole presentation on itself and the strategies to deal with it. But like I said in the presentation here, liquidity is key. Look, when your grandmother or your aunt wants help, what do they want? Cash. If you don't have it, then it comes out of your salary. What does that do? It delays your salary from doing the right investments. So when we do wealth creation, I think I'll spend a little more time to talk about those strategies. But in a nutshell, you need not capital intensive investments. Unit trusts could be another area where you put your money. And I'm not, when I say unit trust, I'm not just specifically just talking about a unit trust. I'm talking more about non-capital intensive investments, things that can help you, but you're gonna need some guidance with that. So really, to answer you, we do a one-on-one with you. We do one-on-one, we see where you are at. And I tell you, at FirstSun, we do have the capacity to have appointments with you guys all day, Monday to Friday, wherever you have, even by Zoom or by Teams, we will meet with you. If you are very busy, just call those numbers that I put at the end there and say, can you meet with me? Can we talk by Zoom? Can we talk by WhatsApp, phone call? The best way is we need to be able to think about somebody guiding you through those things, because in a general presentation like this, where there are many people thinking different things, it's not a good idea to give direct financial advice, but it's important to show you where you can get it. So we can do WhatsApp meetings, we can do Zoom meetings like this one-on-one with you, and be able to say, what is your situation? What are you trying to accomplish? What is the best way to go through that? I hope I'm not avoiding the question, but it requires a whole presentation on its own.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Apologies for that. I was on a call. So so far we have a lot of people. I don't know if I'm still audible. We have a lot of people just commenting to say how great and insightful this presentation is, and how they wouldn't they're actually waiting for a part 2. And I think I would like to speak for some of them to say that we can't wait for you to come to our individual districts and come and give such talks in person, so that they can be that engagement that we have all been longing for. But other than that, there is a question from one of our members. Dr. B has a question. He has his hand up. So I'll just give him the floor to just unmute his mic and speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the insightful presentation. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are very audible.
Mine is not a question per se, but a vote of thanks. Like you actually beat me to it. So this, at times when you hear it, it sounds like common sense, but it has to be said by someone who is in that field for you to actually appreciate where this is coming from. And I have to say, for me, it's quite an eye-opener. I appreciate your talk, and I hope more will come in future. And I think if we can have more of these given to young doctors who just recently graduated, it will help them avoid these financial traps that some of us had found themselves in. Some of us have managed to escape, and some of us are still unable to escape. So thank you very much for starting this initiative with BDU, and we hope to have more of these in future.
Thank you so much, Ngaka, for that powerful comment. I don't know if there's any other comments from the floor. I don't know if Mr. Nelson would like to respond maybe to some of those comments of how, such a great talk. It's something that we as doctors haven't been having for such a long time. Sorry about that. We haven't been having in such a long time, and it's something that is, of course, very much needed, delayed, but very much needed. And this is why we currently have a union and our partners who support us in this aspect. So maybe, Mr. Nelson, you can just touch base on some of those comments and then say what your thoughts are in terms of digging deep. I think also, not to talk too much as I usually do, it's just to also say that there is quite a lot of things that our members who are doctors actually do not know. So there'll be quite a lot of reconditioning that you're going to have to do, and a lot of work that you're going to have to do to just help us get to where we need to be. So thank you, and over to you before we take the next hand.
Oh, thank you very much. I think my computer froze, so I'm speaking from Mr. Stadt's computer here. Thank you very much. We absolutely appreciate the opportunity to share these things with you. We know how important they are, and we know how much we need to get these things to them, to their minds, and of especially busy people. You can see that this is the service that we are passionate about helping people to be able to take care of and build a healthy relationship with their money. That's basically what we are all about. So thank you for your attention. And I hope that in our next presentation, a lot more of your colleagues will be able to join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. There was a hand from Kamanda. I don't know if he still wants to ask his question or make his comment.
Yeah, thanks, Charles. Also, thank you, Mr. Nelson, for the great presentation. I just wanted to urge us to welcome the doctors that aren't members of BDU yet, because I think a whole lot of us need this kind of talks. Just recently, one of my close friends lost a ton of cash in real estate. Turns out that he was buying plots from a scam. And if he was part of these conversations, I'm thinking he would have benefited a whole lot. So I think just a word of encouragement that let's get more people to join the union to benefit from these.
Thank you so much for that. All right, sorry, Mr. Nelson, you can react.
Yes, no, absolutely. That's exactly why we do this. There's a lot of scams out there. And I've also seen people trying to scam people using my Facebook page by duplicating it. So be very careful out there. There's a lot of scammers, and knowledge is a key. What we try to do here, of course, I agree with Dr. Kamanda that we should get as many doctors as possible, because when First Sun tried to set this up, wasn't so much to say what is in it for First Sun. It is so much what's in it for all of us in the country, and it's about really helping every single person. You know, building wealth, like I said, it's a process, and it is very unfortunate that there's not enough financial planners out there to help us with this journey. But that's exactly what we are trying to do at First Sun, and I think it's a great privilege that the BDU and First Sun are in this partnership, so that we can continue to spread the knowledge, not just the knowledge, but the actual practicals. Like I said, it's important. Contact us. Let's sit down with you before you make an investment, because you see, a lot of you are great doctors, and I will put my life on the line to make sure that you take care of me. I won't be afraid. But when you are making an investment, please consult a financial planner. And we are very happy that with First Sun, you have that opportunity. So sometimes it's just that one phone call where you ask one question. Even if you think you know what you're doing, just ask, because there's a lot of legal wrangles that you might not be aware of as well, that you need to be able to be aware of what the tax man is thinking, what the other pieces of legislation are that affect the investments that you are making. So it's a very, very important thing to make sure that you get advice every step of the way. That is why we are here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nelson. And just to augment what you just said, it's important that everyone here notes that the advice and consultation that our partner, the site, does is absolutely free for our members. So we have experts from our First Sun Insurance or First Sun Alliance side, who are very qualified, and all that expertise is there for free. So all you need to do is just pick up the phone. If you need contacts, feel free to WhatsApp or call or email me, and I will provide those contacts. So information is there. All you need to do is just consult with them, and they'll give you the right advice when it comes to anything financial and anything insurance also. And then let us, like Dr. Kamanda rightfully said, let us encourage each other, not only to be part of the union, but also to be part of these talks, because, you know, knowledge is very powerful. Knowledge is power, and what we don't know sometimes can hurt us. And, you know, it's not enough to just make a mistake because of lack of knowledge, because that doesn't help us with anything. So it's just to say that let's continue. I did see Dr. Kafui had unmuted his mic. I'm not sure if he has any questions, but over to you, Mr. Nelson.
Yeah, I guess on my side, I just want to thank you, and I'm here with Paul Shitate. I'm sure he wants to say a word or two, so I'll just let him speak.
Good afternoon, Dr. Charles and team.
Good afternoon, leadership.
I just want to say we're quite excited on this engagement, and I see the numbers are increasing. I think let's just make sure that more and more are given the opportunity to listen to this. And I think we are fortunate we've got Mr. Nelson, who has invested a lot in this field of financial planning. Everything comes out of research and knowledge. So let's take advantage of it. Financial independence is one aspect that we really need to look after, and we're all about money. Let's be jealousy about our money and see. I hear this issue about black tax. We've all been subjected to it. We don't say run away from your families, but you must also make sure that you must look after yourself in the process. Otherwise, for today, I think that's it. Let's continue having these sessions. We will all benefit. Thank you.
Okay, no, great. If we don't have any more questions or any comments, we'll call it a day. Is there any comments or any questions? Going once, going twice, going thrice. So I'll just use this thank you. I'll just use this opportunity to gratefully thank our partners from First Sun Alliance for taking that time, especially on the weekend, to educate us and, to empower us with the knowledge that they have and to continue the partnership that we currently have. And I'd also like to thank you as members for being present in today's session. I know it's not easy. We are very busy people. But it's great. I think together we're going to reshape this entire country in more ways than one. So thank you very much. And bye-bye, unless there's any closing comments.